It's not all plain sailing for AI and connected TV. Four experts highlight some of the technology's challenges and how they think it will revolutionize the industry in 2025 and beyond. Listen on for more. Hello and welcome to Inside the Stream. My name is Colin Dixon, founder and chief analyst at InScreen Media, and Will is still away this week, but at his Video News CTV XAI Preview 2025 conference on Tuesday, February 25th, I moderated a panel entitled AI's Capabilities Bring Benefits to CTV. The 35-minute discussion was wide-ranging, covering everything from AI in the user interface to the back office. Goodness, we even talked about how CTV companies are reorganizing their staff in order to take best advantage of the technology. So it really was a wide-ranging discussion. Well, we'll make the full recordings of all the panels from the show available on his website in due course. But today I thought I'd give you a short taste of some of the insights provided by my panelists. The four panelists were Jerry D'Angelo, Senior Advisor, Marketing and Sales, McKinsey & Company, Asaf Greiner, who is GM Protected by Media Ocean, Natasha Potashnik, who's Head of Data Research and Measurement at Vivo, and Kevin Weingard, VP of Partnerships, Video and Audio, Dentsu Media US Investment Solutions. I asked them to nominate 4 challenges they saw for AI in CTV, and then I asked them to talk about one thing they were excited about that AI will achieve in the near future. And both of these were my traditional quickfire rounds. So today will be quite a short podcast, but I think very impactful. So here is what each had to say, and Will and I will be back to discuss some of the major themes from the conference soon. Now, here are the excerpts from the panel. Okay, so we're going to do that quick fire round on some of the challenges. So why don't we start with you, Jerry? Jerry, 20 seconds. What do you think is a challenge for AI right now?
I'll cheat a little bit and do a sort of broad one, which is I think the rewards are going to get higher with the advancements of AI, but the risks are also going to get higher as well. So things like IP infringement or product claims or ad fraud, for example. So we just need to be very careful that whilst we're leveraging the rewards, we need to keep a watch out and be very watchful for some of the risks that come alongside that.
Yep. Kevin?
I think one thing that we've been approaching pretty head on is this concept of brand in demand is what we're calling it. And I've seen areas where teams and clients are getting so performance minded and utilizing machine learning to continuously optimize, which brings them down funnel of whatever a funnel looks like. And I think it can be short-sighted at times. And I do think that that's a current risk. I think that's a risk that will likely be solved and resolved in the next upcoming years, but that's what we're seeing kind of on the current horizon.
Very good. Natasha?
I think the biggest challenge is going to be people, because I think people have ways of working that are very established. There are deep habits there. You're not a popular leader if you are going to prioritize projects that are going to automate away a lot of folks' jobs. And if we're being honest, like I think Jerry said initially, we've had AI, versions of AI and machine learning for over a decade, and there have been ways that can be applied to vastly automate pieces of this industry, and it's been very slow to happen. So I think we're going to sort of see that be a hindrance.
Yeah, getting generalized AIs to sort of train them in general tasks is, I think, a huge challenge. Asaf, what's your challenge?
I think the challenges are, like Natasha said, a lot about human factor. I think that bad actors are a key part of that. Fake videos are the beginning of that. Too much expectations, too many hopes from the existing AI capabilities might create a gap where human rely too much on the ability to get things done. And I think that the technology is not there in most places to fully rely on it. but it's very tempting, especially with tonnage. So you can get a lot of scale by running it and getting into some trouble there. And eventually, I think ego and cost are also important factors here because everybody wants to own it. Who actually, I think that eventually, because this is so expensive, we are going to get into some collaboration. We can't each have our own system doing exactly the same thing, categorizing the same video 17 times. We need to get to a situation where we're efficient so we can actually take advantage of this. Otherwise, it's going to be very, very expensive for anybody to actually do it at scale.
All right, well, that brings me to my last question. I'd like each of you to take 20 seconds to tell me something that you are really excited about, that AI is going to do for you, do for the industry, or do, just generally going forward in 2025, and that will really make a difference, you think, in 2025 and beyond. So why don't we start with you, Jerry, on that?
Well, no surprise given some of what I've said already, but I think the innovation that I'm really excited about, and it's just around the corner, I think, is the ability to automatically generate and tailor ad content in a real-time basis, dependent on data from the viewer, the context of the program, levels of engagement. And I think that's going to be the next frontier for creative effectiveness to drive the S-curve of growth for businesses around the world.
Yeah. Visions of Tom Cruise being spoken to directly by an ad flash before my eyes. Kevin, what do you think?
Yeah, I would say I'm going to mirror what Jerry said and kind of go further a few steps of how to us as an agency, how do we work with personalized recommendation engines with our video partners, with the OEMs and the smart TVs we work with to better predict and better create forward-facing investments to do some of that bidding. And then how do we look beyond just our deterministic data sets from client data to exposures to attribution? How do we fill in those probabilistic gaps between them all using things like ad slot data, the metadata we get back, and really start to create models to optimize further and further into steps that we may not even understand what the capabilities are at this point.
Yeah. Natasha?
It's funny, I feel like we're all somewhat in alignment. I was going to say integrated ad experiences on CTV, so thinking about more seamless ad creative that goes off of the content that was just there and feels like a better user experience, kind of similar to what exists today on the social platforms. And then obviously you can also start thinking about product placement, and your example of Tom Cruise is probably going to be very real in a couple of years. And I think it's necessary for CTV to innovate there to really compete with the TikToks of the world, Instagram Reels, where it does just feel like a more seamless environment for the user.
Very good. And Asaf, I'm going to give you the last word on this.
I think I'll come back to trust and transparency. I'm very optimistic that AI as intelligence is going to create a common language between the different entities. It would allow us to keep something which is more consistent and objective, where it's not a new CMO and everything changes. I would like to get to a situation where policies and understanding of the content and the goals are something which is almost open sourced and people understand each other, because a lot of what we're doing in verification is kind of a black box these days. And hopefully the common intelligence with the artificial intelligence would allow us to create that common language, which will take a lot of the friction away and become much more efficient in our day-to-day.
That's it for this week. We will let you know when the full recordings are available on the Video News website, and I hope you check out the other great things that the speakers on my panel had to say. Will also did a great interview with the CTO of CBS, Phil Weiser, which is definitely worth checking out, as are the other panels. And we will see you again next time. Inside the Stream is a production of In-Screen Media and Video News, all rights reserved.